Wow, Jason, great list. Did not expect to hear Barbara Streisand's name called so much. That's kind of weird, but yeah, why we do these deep dives. 1963. Okay. Hey, whatever you put on your list, that's for you. Not my place to judge. 63 is a weird year for me. It's just such a turning point in pop and rock. You got the three Bs, Bob Dylan, Beach Boys, and Beatles just bursting into being and really, showing their dominance. But will they get the top spot here? 63, they're all kind of rookies, so we'll see. Go through my list here. Let Me Sing. Brenda Lee is going to kick it off number 25. No 60s, early 60s list would be complete without Brenda. She got this full, advanced, adult sounding vocals for how young she was. Night and Day, great rendition here. And I just love to hear her sing. If she wants to sing, I'm gonna let her sing. Number 24, another, female with a great voice singing some classic pop tunes. I got Leslie Gore, I'll Cry If I Want to, one of two from her this year. And it's kind of a concept album about crying. It's my party, cry if I want to. Cry Me a River, cry. Just Let Me Cry. Cry and You Cry Alone. No More Tears, Judy's Turn to Cry. Practically a concept album about crying, but some really good tunes on here. Obviously, It's My Party's great, and her version of Cry Me a River with a delicious vocal performance. And the band's pretty good too. It's well suited for her style. Number 23, band I never heard of, Cascades with Rhythm of the Rain. One hit wonder vocal group from San Diego. An interesting style, kind of all their own here. Lead vocalist Jean-Claude Jean Gameau, whatever. It doesn't really sound like anyone else. Very like straightforward singing style, none of the theatrics, no wails and falsetto, no Four Seasons, Frankie Valli style stuff here. Very clean phrasing and tone. Kind of reminds me of like Michael Bublé. And the songs, they're not stellar, but they're pretty good and just a different, interesting sound. Number 22, I got Sinatra, Frank Sinatra. It's kind of cheating because these are all rearranged classics from stuff that he had already done. But you got Frank singing, you got Nelson Riddle doing the arranging, so it's gonna sound great. Number 21, I got Jackie DeShannon, who would come into her own more in the future. You may know her from What the World Needs Now is Love, and is the writer of Betty Davis Eyes and When You Walk in the Room. Cool. But she had some big songs on this album, though it's mostly covers. But a couple of really nice Bob Dylan covers. She does Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, which is great, and Blown in the Wind. And she's got a really strong voice, really makes each version her own. Her phrasing and vocal ticks definitely sound, like a Dusty Springfield and stuff that would come later. Number 20, I got Le Premier Bonheur des Jours by Francois Hardy, maybe. That's how you say it. I don't know. Francois, Francis. French yee singer, which was a genre that was typified by sort of like real girly, like young teenage, sort of pining after boys stuff, but not Francis Hardy. She wrote her own songs, totally ahead of the game, really soft, sexy vocals. The language barrier, she sings in French, doesn't matter. You feel the passion and the emotion in every word, and the arrangements are nice. It really just unobtrusive. Let Hardy be the star. Number 19, we got Steel Guitar Jazz by Buddy Emmons. And pretty much everything you need to know is in the title there. It's jazz, but with a steel guitar. And it's really cool, something I'd never heard before. Jazz with a steel guitar. And the playing is incredible. Proto Steely Dan, if I may. Number 18, I got The Fabulous Miracles by the Miracles. If this album consisted solely of You Really Got a Hold on Me and I've Been Good to You, still probably make the list. I mean, Smokey's vocals, his phrasing, the way he says each word, and the tone and intonation he puts on them are just so unbelievably good. You listen to like a cover version of You Really Got a Hold on Me from the Beatles, and they just can't even touch it. It's not even close. A little bit of forgettable stuff on side two, but Smokey's crying vocals on I've Been Good to You. So good. Inspired Sexy Sadie by the Beatles. John Lennon was a big fan. Number 17, I got Samba Esquima Novo by Jorge Ben. George Ben, whatever. Great sounding record. Production's immaculate. Samba, Mas que Nada, smooth, jazzy sounding, but that Latin Brazilian rhythms in there. Vocals are excellent. Rosa Menina Rosa, my favorite from the album, just rich and luscious jazzy arrangement. Some really passionate vocals. 16, we go with little George Jones. We're gonna go country. I Wish Tonight Would Never End. George was pretty much already a star. I think he was maybe already in his alcoholic, destructive phase already. But the vocals, again, these 63 albums, if you don't have a great vocalist, probably not going to make it my list anyway. His heartsick vocals, his cries into the night on Lonesome Life and I Saw Me are tear-inducing. Great pedal steel, lilting piano, and the country arrangements, they're just really nice. Not hokey, just beautifully played across the board. Number 15, Wilson Pickett. It's Too Late. Just a ton of energy, great singing from Pickett here. Has, such yearning, such power in his vocals. If You Need Me, slick, smooth as butter, little tune. I'm Gonna Love You has a great call and response, nice jangly piano, and love the passion and power. And I Can't Stop, a lot of female backing vocals, adding some flair to this one. Number 14, Little Town Flirt by Del Shannon. Surprised at how much I like this one. I've never been too hot on Runaway, which is included here, even though it originally came out in 61, I believe. He's got the really unique voice and delivery. The songwriting, I think he's above most of where his peers were at this time. Two Kinds of Teardrops is great. And I know everyone hates Go Away Little Girl because of Donny Osmond, but his version here of the Carole King classic is really good. He gets almost like a Brian Wilson-esque vocal performance, just really nice, really pretty. Number 13, The Black Saint and the Sinner Lady. Okay, Jason, I know I always go with what the critics love, and this is beloved as far as the jazz world goes. Rate Your Music just goes gaga for this stuff. Uh, Avant-garde jazz, not really my thing. But this one, it's just super interesting. Even if you're not a big fan of the style, there's some additional Latin and African music that's pulled in here. And it really integrates genres beyond just jazz, make it really arresting. It was written partially as a ballet, so it's just got this different vibe that you just don't hear from anything else. Playing is sensational. I don't really know much about jazz, so I can't talk too much, but just listen to track one, Solo Dancer. Just really beautiful and weird and sort of just grabbed your attention. Number 12, A Christmas Gift for You, various Phil Spector produced wall of sound Christmas tunes. I mean, the sound is so good and the production is so cool and everyone sounds great. And if it wasn't a bunch of Christmas songs, it might even be higher. You don't, but it's not just a Christmas album. I feel like this one you can listen to any time of year, just to get that sweet Phil Spector production. Number 11, a band you may have heard of, the Beatles, with the Beatles. First appearance of the Beatles will be the last. I don't know. We'll see. There's too many cover songs here, and the quality of said covers is not great. Roll Over Beethoven, Please Mr. Postman, You Really Got a Hold on Me. Not even close to the originals. I mean, Jason, I know he's rolling his eyes just in the back of his head. but their version of You Really Got a Hold on Me just blows compared to Smokey's. And you can listen to Smokey's the same year. Just the way each word is phrased and sung, just can't touch Smokey. But the originals of the Beatles here, fantastic. You can definitely see the growth already. Their second album of the year, All My Loving, the bouncy Hold Me Tight are amazing. It's just you got some jangle on there. It Won't Be Long with the back and forth vocals is really cool. Yeah, I mean it's the freaking Beatles. What do you think? I don't need to say anything more. Number 10, the other killer bees from this year, Surfer Girl from the Beach Boys. Another one where the singles in Surfer Girl and In My Room are just sublime pieces of art where you can really tell that Brian Wilson is just getting his mojo going. And then there's sort of a bunch of okay tunes, a lot of surf stuff. But Little Deuce Coupe is good. And, it's the Beach Boys, and the harmonies are incredible. And that's really all you really need at this point in time. Yeah, Brian Wilson singing and writing, just it's fantastic. Number 9, I'm gonna go with a little James Brown live at the Apollo. Just immensely exciting performance here. James Brown sounds great. The live setting is cool. You get to hear the crowd noise baked in and just going wild for every song. It's weird that some of the hits are relegated to a medley, but I mean, I don't actually even mind that much because the other tracks are really cool. I'll Go Crazy's great. The 10-minute Lost Someone, just really cool stuff. Number 8, one of my faves, Marvin Gaye with That Stubborn Kind of Fellow. Some of these albums are kind of cheating because they bring in singles from previous years and whatever. It doesn't matter. His vocal work is incredible. It's Marvin Gaye. What do you expect? Stubborn Kind of Fellow, Pride and Joy, Hitchhike are all incredible examples of early 60s soul. And Marvin, he's a singer beyond superlatives. There's a little bit of, that Motown filler here, but when Gaye gets going, man, he's just beyond any other singer, and his songwriting is really good too. His cries on Stubborn Kind of Fellow have more grit than anybody this side of James Brown. Number 7, all right, the other Beatles. We got 2 Beatles this year for me. Another one that's loaded with some great hits and a bunch of kind of filler and covers that you don't really need. But God, I saw her standing there. Please, please me, let me do Twist and Shout, which is a cover, are so different and just like better than anything else in the pop rock sphere that they basically created. It's a little staggering. They'll get much better. Maybe that even holds it back for me because they do get so much better later, but it's still really fun to hear them in their infancy. Number 6, maybe the surprise of the whole dang countdown. I got the freewheeling Bob Dylan. And, I'm not a Dylan guy, but you can't listen to this album and not admit that his lyrically, he is so far beyond what anyone else was doing in folk, in pop, in rock. I mean, it just blows everybody else away. I don't know where he came up with this stuff, what contract he signed with the devil. But Don't Think Twice, It's All Right is a just absolutely great song. Blown in the Wind inspired so many people, across all races. His protest songs, and then Girl from the North Country is wonderful. A really pretty little ballad. A Hard Rain Is Gonna Fall. Masters of War. Just they're basically perfect tunes. And yeah, Dylan, he's still a little bit of a gas bag, and the album is still too long, which it's hard to believe for an album from 1963. There's some stretches of boredom for me. And the folk, it's pretty stripped back. It's a lot of acoustic guitar, some harmonica. And I don't find his arrangements too interesting when he goes into like the bluesier stuff, but goddamn, those lyrics just blow everyone else away. Number 5, go with little Sam Cooke, Night Beat. You know, as far as just pure soul singing, it's really hard to beat what Sam Cooke brings to the table on Night Beat. He sounds amazing. He sounds passionate and earnest and, powerful. Not a note he can't hit, not a phrase he can't make his own. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous album. No weak points on it. Every song is great. Number 4, this one was a new one for me, um, for this deep dive. Ike and Tina Turner with "It's Gonna Work Out Fine." This one blew me away. Just the power and depth of Tina Turner's vocals this early. She doesn't sound like anybody else. Sounds like she's operating on a completely different planet. Her wailing, her power, her spirit, completely unique. And Ike and Tina, despite all the marital troubles and all the things that were happening and happen in the future between them, they have an incredible chemistry on this album. The songs are fun and high energy. The power chords on "It's Gonna Work Out Fine" are very like proto garage rock. The blues licks and organ on "Foolish," paired with Tina's just bellowing. One of the high points of the whole year. Ike gets some bonus points for writing all the songs, and his guitar work is really good. You kind of miss that this year. There's not like the Chuck Berry kind of solo guitar work, but Ike brings the fire. Number 3, my final jazz album here. I got "Money Jungle" from Duke Ellington, Charles Mingus, and Max Roach. Definitely the jazz album I appreciated the most, the one I think I'd most like to come back to. You got old school with Duke Ellington, you got new school with Charles Mingus and Max Roach. And despite the differences there, they just make it work. It's just intoxicating, the blend that they come up with. Really beautiful, really challenging stuff. I don't even understand it. It's like me speaking Greek or something, but I like what I hear, and that's all that matters. I'll get into jazz. That's what you get into when you're 50 and 60. I'll start to appreciate it more. Number 2 is a band I never heard of and just completely surprised me. Alex from our Discord had it in his top 25, and I don't even know why I saw it. I was like, that looks interesting. Two female singers with guitars on the cover. Caravels, that's a cool name. And You Don't Have to Be a Baby to Cry is their album. It's the only one they ever made, I think. And I kind of had to like check Wikipedia and rate your music to make sure this wasn't like a prank or something. Like this really came out in 1963. Because it just kind of blew me away how ahead of the game it sounds for, two nobodies in the music biz to come out with this. Really impressive. They have these really whispery, close harmonies. Reminds me of like Margot Guryan. Don't sound like it should be 1963. Sounds like future, 65, 66, 67, like almost a little psychedelic sounding. Cool guitar fills and stuff in there. The arrangements feel like they're ahead of the time. I was wrong. Has these little like, perfect guitar fills, real jazzy drums and bass. Sounds like it's like a zombie song almost. And they do a killer rendition of "I Really Don't Want to Know." And the close whispery harmonies, I don't know what it is about them, but you don't get those anywhere else. And it's just a really unique, cool album. Can't recommend it enough. You Don't Have to Be a Baby to Cry by the Caravels. So that just leaves one. My winner for 1963. I'm going with a classic. You know him. We know him. He sung of pretty women, but here he's just singing about dreams. We got Ray Orbison in Dreams. I just think it's the best written, most consistent sounding, best band, best arrangements, just gorgeous, timeless songs like "In Dreams," "Shah Da Roba." Dream by Jeremy Mercer, Blue Bayou, which he wrote and Linda Ronstadt would make famous later. They Call You Gigolette, All I Have to Do Is Dream, Beautiful Dreamer, My Prayer, another concept album, I guess, about dreaming, sleep, whatever. But Roy Orbison has such a classic, timeless quality to his voice. He's like a softer, more approachable Elvis Presley. And I love the sound. Country is timeless. So you get these country arrangements, beautiful instrumentation and strings and stuff. And it's just gorgeous. In Dreams, going to be right up there for my songs of the year for 1963. So that is my winner. It's the only 4.5 star album that I'm going to have this year. Everything else on this list, 4 stars until you get down to the bottom four. Sinatra, Cascades, Leslie Gore, Brenda Lee, strong 3.5s. It's not a great year, but plenty of stuff to like, plenty of stuff that I found that I will go back to. And a unique year. You'll never get anything like this going forward. It's all Beatles and pop and rock and stuff. So a cool deep dive. I enjoyed it much. Now here's someone who did not.